Tony Allen. The era of the defensive specialist has greatly evolved in recent years. Much like three-point specialists, you must provide more than just one thing. But back when Allen, aka...
All right, welcome back to the show, everyone. Hope you all are having a good day so far. So I wanted to check out this video here from Andy Hoops, and this one is titled NBA players who were good. NBA players who were good at just one thing, aka specialists. I thought this would be a cool one because there are plenty of great players that come to mind right off the bat, and usually for me it's defensively. On the offensive end, I guess there are specialists too. Like we can say like James Harden is a three-point specialist, a dribble specialist. But I'm thinking more like the Ben Wallace, the Dennis Rodman type of players. You know what I mean? Like those kind of guys who are just phenomenal at one thing, but if you ask them to do, say, hit a jump shot, it's a chore. You know. Anyways, or hit a free throw for that matter. Anyways, you guys, like I always do, I'm gonna link the original video down below in the description. I'm curious to see what things Andy Hoops comes up with here. But I am a strong supporter of specialists. For those of you who know me, I think every team needs a defensive specialist, offensive specialist. I mean, I guess, you know, like a three-point specialist is required on a team. I do believe, especially if you have a star player that's reminiscent of, say, like a Kobe or a Jordan who could draw a double team at will. It definitely comes in handy having a three-point specialist ready to just gunsling when the right time comes. I'm thinking Paxson, Steve Kerr. Anyways, you guys, I'm linking the original video down below if you want to check it out. Also, you see a list of channel members. Shout out channel members. How you doing? I appreciate you all. Guys, without further ado, let's get into it. Hit that like button, hit that hype button, all that good stuff, and let's do this.
In an NBA landscape where versatility is emphasized more than ever, there have been so many players in recent years who've built a long, fruitful career by being elite at just one specific skill. Some would call them a one-trick pony.
Let's get it.
But to be honest, I don't like that term.
Yeah, I don't like that term either. Specialist is better. It's not disrespectful. One-trick pony, just, I don't know. It's coming from a place of disrespect.
Because it implies that they were bad players in general, but in reality, these players maximized their lone skill to their absolute highest potential. In this video, let's take a look at 6 NBA players who were only good at one thing. And perhaps that's all they needed.
Whoa, a little nifty move! Because when you use a term like specialist, it's different. Like, Ron Artest, before he went to the Lakers, was a two-way player, complete player. But then in order to win championships with LA, teaming up with Kobe, he decided, okay, here's where I'm going to earn my keep. It's going to be on the defensive end while Kobe does the scoring. Now, so if we just called him a one-trick pony during that time, I find that disrespectful because he's literally altering his style of play, focusing on one element of the game to help his team. So specialist, I don't know. I'll stop promoting the word specialist here. Like a point guard out there. Let's get on with it.
Andre Drummond. Drummond entered the league in 2012 at the spry age of 19, and you can legitimately argue he never expanded his game at all. He came in as an elite rebounder, led the league in rebounds for 4 different seasons, led the league in offensive rebounds for 7 different seasons, which indicates his uncanny ability to be at the right place at the right time. It's like his hands have magnets on them. Granted, a huge number of rebounds come from the fact that he can't finish properly at the rim, so he just grabs the board and tries again, and again, and again.
Angel Reese?
Look at him get 3 offensive rebounds before...
Regardless, there's no doubting his prowess on the glass. On paper, Drummond gives off the impression that he could also be a great defender, a great pick-and-roll scorer, and maybe even a great post scorer. The dude is a 7-footer who weighs 280 pounds, and somewhat athletic, with a 7'6" wingspan. The dude's a huge body with a massive frame that engulfs the vast majority of centers. Yet, for some reason, aside from rebounding, he plays much smaller than he actually is. For example, he has never even averaged 2 blocks a game,
Wow.
and his defensive awareness in general is just really bad.
All right, I don't have too much insight on Drummond so far from the highlights. It's looking like he is getting 3 to 4 rebounds, which would be 1 rebound for somebody normally, but he's just kind of smacking it against the backboard constantly. So that's the impression I'm getting so far.
Because he's so slow and inattentive. He shoots only 64% right at the basket. Compared to other 7-footers like Rudy Gobert or DeAndre Jordan, Drummond's efficiency is abysmal for his size, even compared to other players with no jump shot. If you've never watched Andre Drummond and just evaluate him based on his stats, the biggest misconception people have is that they actually think he's a good offensive player. They simply look at his points and field goal percentage and think, oh, this guy can score the basketball, kind of. But
yeah, the rebound numbers look phenomenal too. So, but yeah, if anybody has more insight on him, like, is he actually legit getting 15, 16 rebounds a game? Or is he kind of, getting 3 rebounds per 1? You know what I mean? Smack it against the backboard, miss it kind of thing.
He really can't. In terms of true shooting percentage, Drummond hovered around below average for most of his career, but way below average compared to other centers. A large part of his offensive bag is simply catching passes near the rim, and even then, he struggles to do that. It doesn't help that, in Detroit, his teams were often poorly constructed. You add on the other stuff like him never having a jump shot, and his free throw percentage has always been piss poor. Of all qualified players, Drummond's career 48.6% free throw percentage is the 3rd worst in history, ahead of only Ben Wallace and DeAndre Jordan.
Now, what is it with good rebounders not being able to shoot a free throw?
To say he's only good at rebounding is an understatement. He's literally unplayable in every other aspect of the game. The dude's straight up horrendous, and that's why, despite his insane rebounding talent, Drummond has rarely ever made a positive impact for any team he played for. Kyle Korver.
Oh, 3-point specialist.
Now, let me explain. You could essentially name any 3-point specialist and put him in a video like this. Off the top
Honestly,
of my...
that would be a cool video in general. It's just a bunch of 3-point specialists throughout all the eras.
Ahead, I can think of guys like JJ Redick, or Klay Thompson, or heck, even Steve Novak. The reason I chose Korver is because not only does he do everything else at a subpar level, but he literally made an all-star team due to his single skill of shooting threes. I know the Hawks won 60 games that year, so everyone was jumping aboard the bandwagon.
I mean, 49% for the 3-point line is phenomenal, though.
But to have Korver be selected as an all-star is asinine, and it shows how good of a shooter he truly was. Korver led the league in 3-point shooting for 4 different seasons.
That's amazing numbers. From the 3-point line, like that's a guarantee almost. That's awesome. Draw a double team, dish it out to Korver, money.
But perhaps he was best known during his time in Utah, where he set the NBA record for the highest 3-point percentage ever in a single season, 53.6%.
That's a 3 by Kyle Korver.
The other aspects of his game, however, well, it's kinda rough. Unlike somebody like JJ Redick, who is honestly elite at moving off the ball and having insane cardio, and unlike Klay Thompson, Korver was never a good defender, while Klay was elite at defense. Korver is more of a basic catch-and-shoot player, and back in his day, he didn't move as much because of how NBA offenses were constructed. Now, in terms of playmaking, creating off the dribble, attacking the basket, passing, all of that was non-existent. What's even more impressive is that Korver built an entire career off this single skill, and he played over 1,200 games.
Wow.
If he came into the NBA in the modern era, I don't think he'd get as much playing time, just because you can't just be a 3-point shooter. You need to defend and contribute in other ways, or else you'll be exposed. I think he's a good example of being in the right place at the right time. The 3-point revolution was still in its early stages, so Korver, being an early adopter of the 3-point shot, gave his team an edge. So his value was much higher back in his day. Tony Allen.
Oh, defensive specialist.
The era of the defensive specialist has greatly evolved in recent years. Much like 3-point specialists, you must provide more than just one thing. But back when Allen, aka the Grindfather, was at his peak, he was able to get by with just this singular skill, perimeter defense. Allen was a 6-time All-Defender in Memphis, and a huge reason why they were a top 10 defense for so many years. In fact, he was such a nuisance to play against.
Try to close out. It's up to Tony Allen to try to turn off the water. The crowd's Lillard and strip the ball free.
Whenever a superstar was asked the question, who was the defender that gave you the most trouble?
Yeah, always.
Kobe, LeBron, and even Kevin Durant vehemently claimed Tony Allen was the toughest defender they ever faced. For a 6'4", 210-pound shooting guard, he was somewhat undersized, but held his ground due to his burly frame.
And one thing about him is whenever I hear all these stars and ex-stars talk about Tony Allen, nobody ever says he played dirty or he was cheap or he got away with fouling. Everyone is just nothing but respect for Tony Allen. Like, just straight up best defender.
Strong, quick hands, which he used to harass his opponent at every opportunity, leaving them no chance to even initiate their move. Unfortunately, that was about the extent of Allen's game. The Memphis Grizzlies made the playoffs for 7 consecutive years from 2011 to 2017, with Allen being there for every single year, but the team's biggest weakness has always been their offense. Specifically, their lack of offensive creation, which made their game plan very stagnant and predictable. During an era of pace and space, where teams with multiple ball handlers and shot creators benefited greatly, the Grizzlies remained a relic of the past. Of course, it's not just the fault of Tony Allen and his inability to do anything offensively, but their game plan was flawed from the start. Defense can only get you so far.
Yeah.
Allen laughably averaged 1 assist per game for his career as a shooting guard, and I'd imagine he couldn't get away with that in the modern era. They simply needed another shot creator, another threat from the perimeter, and he never provided that.
I mean, for that, I'll point the finger at the GM for that. If you're going to have a defensive specialist like him, well, you obviously have to compensate with more offense away from him. You know what I mean? AKA, Dennis Rodman would not be nearly as effective if he wasn't paired up with Jordan or an Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars kind of duo. You need people who are going to do the scoring if you're going to have a starter dedicated to just defense.
Regardless, he still carved out a 14-year career, putting all his skill points into one talent, which is, respectable. He was arguably the best perimeter defender for 5 or 6 straight years, and his defense kept him in the league for so long. Kenneth Faried. If there was an NBA encyclopedia and you turned the page to the section for hustle and energy, or something like that, the first thing you see should be Kenneth Faried.
Or Russell Westbrook.
Now, I'm not saying he played with the most energy I've ever seen, because I'm sure plenty of others built their careers from hustling and competing with maximum effort. But Faried is the perfect example of somebody who's only on the floor because his energy fuels his game. Like, you could argue he's a good rebounder, but he's never been good at positioning his body nor boxing out. He gets rebounds by simply outworking and out-hustling his opponent.
Look at this guy.
In reality, every part of his game...
I mean, that's funny to watch, but that's a lot of energy to use in one possession. That's a lot of energy for 2 points and maybe 4 rebounds.
...is lackluster, but he makes up for it with his effort.
Wait, let's play a game. How many rebounds did he get?
You could argue he's a good rebounder, but he's never been good at...
1, or is that 2? Shoot. I need a clip to go further back. What was going on here? Is that a rebound? I think that's a rebound. All right.
He's never been good at positioning his body nor boxing out. He gets rebounds by simply outworking and out-hustling his opponent.
3, 4.
In reality,
5. Oh my God, that was at least a 5 rebound possession right there. So 5 rebounds and 2 points. I mean, if you can get that many stats in one possession, then I guess, yeah, disperse that energy. You play 5 minutes and then you're good. You got your numbers.
Part of his game is lackluster, but he makes up for it with his effort. That's why by the age of 29, he was already out of the league.
Dang.
The drive, the motivation, the hunger to succeed was no longer there for Faried. And when a player like him loses the passion for the sport, he doesn't have the actual skills to fall back on.
Fair enough.
For his entire NBA career, his energy fueled his desire to win, whether it's catching lobs, or rolling to the baskets, grabbing boards, or even his defense, which he wasn't good at, but his effort created the illusion that he was. Of course, there were a lot of things working against him. Being a 6'8" power forward / center, it's tough. It's even tougher when you have no bag. But he was able to find a niche in Denver because he joined them at the right time. They were rebuilding, they were experimenting with young players, and they played at a relentless pace, top 5 in the league in pace for 4 straight years. With Faried's energy, he prospered in that role, because all he had to do was run up and down the court and he'll find a way to make an impact. It helps when the rest of the team is also young and runs alongside you. But the moment the Nuggets pivoted towards a different playstyle, with Jokic running the offense, Faried was no longer productive. Because in a half-court setting, when defenses are actually paying attention to you, Faried can't do anything. There's only so much he can do with a limited skill set. And
I just gotta point it out. Look at this give and go right here.
Faried can't do anything. There's only so much he can do with a limited skill set and even more limited physical tools. Jason Williams. Alright, it took me a while to think of...
I mean, well, I don't know. Well, okay, passing, dribbles. I guess we're gonna just make him a passing specialist.
Players to include in his video, and I wasn't sure if Jason Williams would be a great choice. Despite his shortcomings, his playstyle was iconic, and it was built around his otherworldly passing ability. He earned the nickname White Chocolate due to his flair and creativity, and how he basically looks like he's freestyling on the court.
Yeah,
At
for
his
sure.
peak, very few players in history can entertain a crowd as well as Jay Will. With that being said, his game outside his passing was insufficient. He was a very poor jump shooter, with several seasons of shooting over 6 threes a game on under 30%.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing. Whenever we think back on him, it's never him hitting shots. And yeah, one of the greatest passers we've ever seen in this game. But man, it would have gone a long way if he can hit the open shot as well.
Dude was near the top of the charts in attempts, but near the bottom in percentage. His popularity exploded in his first 3 years in Sacramento as he became a walking highlight reel. He'd arguably be the NBA's most popular player. Unfortunately, his on-court production never came close to what we expected. Williams was a volatile player. He would frequently play out of control and not listen to his coaches. This included a season...
Hubie was a good coach for him early on. Hubie actually let him do whatever he wanted to do. I mean, I don't mean like that. Hubie encouraged him to be himself, play like he knows how to play.
Where he averaged nearly 4 turnovers a game despite putting up 7 assists. In addition, he got suspended and fined several times for his behavior. It wasn't until Sacramento traded him away for Mike Bibby when they broke through the barrier and reached a new level. While Bibby was never as extravagant as Jay Will, he was more stable and provided a steady point guard dynamic.
That's fair. I like Jay Will better, but I got to admit, because I was rooting for Sacramento during his time to take down the Lakers. Mike Bibby was a way better fit. He really was.
Kings needed. Over the years, Williams' passing has always remained the one and only elite aspect of his game. While he did improve in other aspects, like his three-point shot, and he toned down to become less chaotic, even winning a championship as the starting point guard in Miami, his career unfortunately was quickly fading away. The problem was, even though Williams expanded his game, his reputation as a player never changed. For every mistake, coaches had a short leash with him. He saw his playing time decrease until he retired. Roy Hibbert.
One last thing to say about that Miami championship was awesome, because that got Gary Payton and him and Alonzo a championship. It was, and I remember during the NBA playoffs that year, it's hard to call one or the other a starter because Gary Payton and Jay Will were really sharing that responsibility as the point guard for the team.
Remember the term verticality? Well, I think Hibbert popularized this term because nobody really used it much before. Basically, what it means is that if the defender jumps vertically to contest a shot, it's considered legal defense even if their bodies collide.
The other 4 starters all in double figures. Smith goes to the basket, blocked again, and off of Smith. And it's going to be pacer ball.
Hibbert, with his immaculate timing on his jumps, combined with being a massive 7'2", he utilized this verticality rule to its maximum potential, and thus became one of the most impactful defenders of his time. In back-to-back seasons, 2013 and 2014, the Indiana Pacers were the top-ranked defense in the league, as Hibbert anchored the paint in a way that even the most brilliant offenses could not break. That is, until the playoffs started.
inside to Hibbert. Blocked by Korver. Kyle Korver not known as a shot blocker.
What the hell?
One more look at that replay.
That was a monster
You
block.
see, despite Hibbert's verticality, there were no other strong points in his game. He was pretty mid at everything else, including his defense outside the paint. He struggled with that, and small ball offenses like the Heat and even the Hawks gave him a difficult time when the floor was spread with shooters. For a 7'2", 270-pound center, you'd expect his rebounding to be decently good, but it never was.
Interesting.
In the infamous 2014 playoff series against the Atlanta Hawks, Hibbert had fewer than 5 rebounds in 5 of the 7 games, including his infamous 0-rebound game and back-to-back 0-point games. Plus, his scoring efficiency is especially abysmal for a guy of his size. He had years of shooting like 44-45% from the field, despite most of his attempts being in the paint. I still recall when Shaq was literally bullying him on national television, claiming that Hibbert should be averaging 28 and 15. But that was never a possibility. Over the years, his success on the Pacers has been perceived to be kind of a fluke. It was the perfect situation for him, as the game plan was to funnel players into the tower that is Hibbert, so he can jump and contest a shot with his verticality. This formula worked in Indiana, but once he left the team, it was immediately downhill from there. He could not adapt. He pretty much became useless when the one skill he was good at became nullified. During an era where the center position saw a revival with more and more competent centers on the come-up, Hibbert remained in the Stone Age. And unlike Brook Lopez, he never worked hard enough to expand his game to stay relevant. In just 2 seasons after leaving the Pacers, Hibbert fell out of the NBA.
Dang.
And those were 6 NBA players who found success in the NBA by being good at just one thing. But for these guys, it was basically enough to ensure a long, prosperous career, where they most definitely made an impact for every team they played for. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Can you think of any other players who had a long career by being good at just one thing? Thank you all so much for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed the video, and of course, as always, I'll see you next time.
You know what? This topic is actually more difficult than I thought it would be. Because if we're really gonna make it just one thing, like he's trying to do here, first off, great video. Link is down below in the description if you want to check out the channel. But like, okay, initially I listed names like Ben Wallace and Dennis Rodman. Let's get those out of the way. That's not fair. They're not just good at rebounding. They're good shot blockers. They're good defenders. But literally they're one side of the ball players, but you can't say they're only good at one thing. They're good at multiple things. Same thing with James Harden. I got to take that back. Yeah, he's a 3-point specialist, but he can also dribble the ball and he can pass the ball well. So just because he can't play defense doesn't mean he's not good at multiple things. So it's hard. Off the top of my head, the only person that's in my head right now is actually very similar to Kyle Korver, and that's Peja Stojakovic, 3-point specialist for the Sacramento Kings, which we were talking about earlier, and hella good at it too. But I can't tell you he was good at anything else, because he was one of those players that literally his job was just to plant himself at that 3-point line, wait for a double team on Chris Webber or anybody else, dish out, wide open 3. Yeah, he was great at it. Great 3-point specialist. But what else can you guys think of? Because I thought this list was going to be easy. Now I realize this list is harder. Maybe Sean Bradley as a shot blocker? Because I don't remember Bradley really producing much else. But he'll block the hell out of people in his prime. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. What other ideas do you have? Because I think my brain is tapping out right there with Peja and Sean Bradley, and I'm racking my head trying to think of them, but I gotta stop. So it's up to you guys now. Ball's in your court. Let me know in the comments what other examples of this you have, and yeah, we'll have a good old conversation like we always do, guys. Thank you for watching as always. I really appreciate you guys. And I guess all the things to say now at the end of a video: like the video, please. Hype the video, please. Subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this. Hit that subscribe plus button if you'd like to become a member. And I think that's it, everyone. Y'all have a wonderful rest of your day. And I'll see you all in the comments, okay? Hope you're doing well. Be water, my friends.